Coach Mike Gazelle had 4 threes. They hit their threes, and you guys unfortunately couldn't. Obviously, how does that change the complexion of the game when they're coming up clutch and you guys kind of are, I guess, from behind?
That's an elite level team if they're making threes, because they beat you up inside. They got length all over the place. They're strong. They're physical. And we tried to take that away. We did a good job taking that away. And let's give Gazelle credit. He hasn't shot the ball like that all year, but they were open shots. We still got to make our rotations. You still got to have your hand up. But he still made the shots. So that becomes a very difficult team to play when they're hitting their threes. And obviously Michigan last week with Marble, and now today Gazelle. And we have to make threes. I mean, we have to make threes. There's no secret about that. We need to make at least 7 threes, and I'm not even going to count the 2 at the end. We were 1 for 14 when it really counted. I'm just surprised how we're shooting the ball at home. I'm really surprised. I can't quite put my finger on it, because we should be shooting the ball much better. And we had some open looks, and they didn't go down.
Coach, Iowa had 6 players score 7 points or more. What kind of challenges does it present when a team has so many guys who can put the ball in the basket?
You know, that's a veteran team. They got seniors, they have juniors, they got solid basketball players. I think he's in his 4th year. So, I mean, they're mature guys, they're men, their bodies are developed. I mean, it's a luxury to be able to reverse the ball, and a lot of different guys can make plays, and they share the ball. 13 assists. Did a good job. They handled our pressure. Did a very good job with that as well. Franny does a good job. He really does. And those players have bought into Iowa basketball. It's very obvious. There's no egos. There's no selfishness out there. You know, obviously I'm disappointed we lost, but that's a tough team to play against.
Pat, there were 10 total fouls in the first half. Neither team gets into the bonus. In the second half, 31, both teams in the bonus kind of early. Is it difficult? Was there a difference in the way they were officiating? Was it tighter in the second half? Was it different?
It's funny. I said at halftime, I'm loving the way that we're being officiated right now. This is a tough, physical, old-school Big Ten game, or, you know, Big East game, whatever you want to call it. I was enjoying it. And then it just got a little crazy, the ticky-tacks. And it's unfortunate, but I'm not blaming the refs at all. It had nothing to do with, you know, Gazelle making 4 threes. So we just need to play hard without fouling. We tried to take away their post-ups. I thought we did a decent job with that. They only had 2 offensive rebounds in the second half. That's a victory in itself, but they did shoot 50% and 48%. So obviously our defense is a work in progress.
Coach, kind of going off of that, you guys were getting to the line like crazy early on, and then it kind of slowed down. Were you guys just not attacking as much, or what do you think that was?
Well, they were making shots. You know, when you miss shots, you're able to push and get some odd man rushes. But they were making shots. I mean, I think it was a 2-point game or tied for a little while there. They started to make a run, and we were still hanging, but we just couldn't get ourselves back to the foul line. I think they blocked some shots. What, they have 10 blocks? Yeah. So they did a pretty good job.
Coach, here's at one point early on in the second half where they got up to 9 team fouls. You had 3, and you got like 4 fouls in about a minute. You kind of see that as like a pivotal point there, where they're not so much on their heels as they were at that point.
They had 9 team fouls, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And then there was a foul barrage?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's life. We got to even out the fouls. You know it's coming. You just hope it's spaced out properly. But again, it's not the ref's fault. We're out of position. We got to be in stances. You know, I'm not making an excuse for my team. We just played some tough games in a short stretch here. And, you know, when you're missing shots like that, your legs are going a little bit. I look like a tired group, to be honest with you. And so we got to get fresh legs and get ready for the stretch run here.
And Coach, on your left, do you see any similarities between where Iowa was as a program when Frank got there and where they are this year and what you're trying to do here?
I would say, you know, we're probably a year behind him. You know, I feel like I'm in year 2 with a lot of the things that went on here. My first year, getting the job so late. But I think we're on that. I'd like to think we're on that path, because that's my vision. My vision is exactly what Coach McCaffrey's doing with his program. He's got a lot of good guys in there. They play a ton of guys. But I'd like to think we're on that road to success. He's terrific, man. I would love to have him in blue and white. He's terrific. Great kid too, plays hard every possession. He's playing at the 3, so he's a mismatch nightmare. Newbill's covering him, so it's very hard. So we tried to play small and quick and see what we could do, and Franny did some good things to try to slow us down.
Coach, you mentioned being tired and all, but how about like mentally? That they win a couple, lose a couple. Is it tough to keep them together? Or?
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. But I'm saying both. I mean, they're mentally and physically tired. Indiana to Illinois, your disappointment, then you come back and you beat Indiana. It's like, mentally and physically, these guys are wearing down a little bit. So I think getting them some time off, getting them refreshed and ready to go back to work on Monday, I think will be good for them.
You had 40 points in the paint, but like you said, they had 10 blocks. So how would you gauge the offense against their interior defense?
Their interior defense was great. Here's the problem. If you're not making threes, we're very easy to guard. And we only had one scorer today. And we've been talking about 3 scorers. We only had one. I'm not counting the last 2 minutes. I'm not counting any of those points. So in reality, you had one guy get 22 and everybody else was in single digits. So if you can't make outside jump shots, it's going to be very difficult to win in the Big Ten. It's that simple. It's not science, but it's very simple. You got to make shots. And then you got to get yourself to the free throw line. You got to be straight, strong, straight line drives going up strong.
Coach, talking more about the scoring. Tim, they kind of kept him in check to where he usually is. I mean, he was still facilitating out there, but his scoring slowed down a bit. Just was it his shot? How do you think they were defending him that kind of affected that?
Look, Tim played so hard. I look at the 4 for 17 or 3 for 16. I feel for him because he's senior. He wanted to play well. He brought his team back in Indiana. He wanted to do it here. And you have nights like this, But he's got to come back in the gym, work on his shot, keep working hard, try to finish strong. But obviously we need his production. If he doesn't get his average, it's tough on us. And it's tough on them. Newbill and Frazier know if they don't get their averages, we're going to lose the game. That's a lot of pressure and a lot of stress for young kids like this, like the way they are right now. So they got to keep plugging away. We need, we need other guys to step up. We need Taylor, we need Woodward, you need Johnson and Thorpe and Travis. Those guys got to, give us positive production.
One more.
Going off that a little bit, we've talked about the outside shooting struggles. Is something going on in practice? Are they making the shots in practice and it's just not carrying it over to the game, or is it something else?
I would give Iowa credit. I'd give Iowa credit. They're long, and they're very disruptive. That's why they're one of the best at defending the 3. But in practice, the shots are going in. But let's give the Iowa defense some credit. Thanks.